Let's go fly a kite. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday ADC. Welcome. We are going to be reviewing the WE Knives Kitefin. This is the WE Knives Kitefin in carbon fiber and gold shred. Yeah. All right, so the WE Knives Kitefin. Guys, this is a pretty cool little guy. And it's not that small. So let's start off with the blade, because this is probably my most favorite part of this whole knife. It's hard to see right there. All those lines, this is a hand-rubbed, what they call satin finish. So I guess I don't realize what satin finishes and hand-rubbed satin finishes look like. This almost looks like a coated blade or some sort of washed blade and then the satin finish. I don't know if this is what a hand-rubbed satin finish produces each time, but if it is, I love it. And my light just cut out, so I apologize for the shadows that are now appearing. I charged this guy beforehand. Absolutely love this guy. Blade 20 CV. 20 CV blade. This thing is going to be built to slice, and last quite some time. We have this carbon fiber gold shred, which is pretty sweet because it's smooth, but I can feel some of the gold flakes slightly sticking a little proud of the what I'm assuming is epoxy coating on the top. We have a titanium frame lock here on the other side, and a titanium, almost it looks like flame anode. Let's see. A flame anode pocket clip. Pretty darn cool. We have a titanium backspacer going this way. This pocket clip is deep carry, by the way, but it is not ambidextrous. We have an over travel stop, and let's see here. We have a flipper tab with a little bit of jimping, and it's rounded off very nicely to where it's not going to really affect your little pinky finger or your finger flipping. We have a forward finger choil with some jimping that is really not functional. I mean, I guess if you're not choked up, but when you're in a choked up position, this feels good, but I mean, the jimping's just kind of meh. Action, running on ceramic ball bearings. Absolutely fantastic. Blade perfectly centered. No back and forth, no up and down. And it's overall just awesome. I mean, this is an awesome little piece. It is super slicey, with the exception that when I first got it in, I had to strop it before it became slicey. I don't know if they missed that step or what. And I said it's stupid slicey, and then it does that. Like, it's an extremely slicey blade. Now, and I've made a mess everywhere. Yeah. I mean, the carry profile is nice. What I really like, and I usually don't like the scales on one side and then something different on the other, but what I really appreciate about this is that this is contoured here. So it fills out your hand a little bit better, but this flat side allows for super easy access in and out of your pocket. Very nice. We have this grind coming through here, which, let me double check my notes. I believe it's a flex. Oh no, they call it a hollow grind. It's hard to see. They call it a hollow grind though. But it does come down to a very narrow edge. And you have this swedge that runs the width of the blade, giving the blade some strength going through here till you get to this very narrow tip. The tip is pretty darn narrow, but it's, in my opinion, kind of average for 2020. It's on par with 2020. All right. I think I've cruised right along through most of my thoughts. Let's go over some specs. Here is your weight of this guy, coming in at a whopping 2.6 inches. So you're definitely getting that blade to length ratio, blade to weight ratio, length of blade to weight ratio that I hear people mention in reviews, but I've never heard anybody actually say that they care about. The overall length of this blade is coming in at just about 3 1/4. The cutting edge is coming in about 2 3/4 due to that large finger choil, and the overall length of the whole thing coming in at about 7.5 inches. This thing, by the way, is 2.6 ounces, and it feels ridiculously light, and there's no milling on either side of these scales. So just to put that into perspective, it's a fantastically light knife that if you ever wanted to upgrade you bug out users from just a typical bug out and like go to something kind of a little bit cooler, in my opinion, no offense, then this is probably the knife for you. Did I just offend anybody? Is that what we just did? Is that what we do on this channel? We hurt people's feelings? It's not very nice. So my blade stock thickness is coming in at 125 thousandths. The behind the edge thickness of the belly here coming right in at about 14 thousandths, maybe around 15 thousandths. Just stupid thin behind the edge. This is just an ultimate slicer. And up by the tip, it's only 17 thousandths. So even though it doesn't have as much room to come down, it keeps it a little bit thicker going up there. Very, very cool. The overall height in your pocket coming in at a whopping 1.26. Stupid, stupid short. I always compare this to the Manix 2 and the PM3 and everything, but it's half an inch shorter than those. So, yeah. The handles coming in pretty thin, coming in at 400 thousandths. Usually they come in at about half an inch. So that's another one that's pretty darn skinny. Let's get into some size comparisons. Here is your Best Tech Swordfish. Here is your Feldspar, your mini Feldspar. Obviously much shorter than the Swordfish. Almost the same size as the Feldspar, actually. It's a little bit longer, but not much. And for those of you wondering, just new to the channel, why am I doing so many size comparisons? Because we are going to do a bunch of size comparisons. This is so you guys can see a knife that you may be able to associate with this, just because you don't collect as many knives as some of us crazy people do. There is your Civivi Brigand, coming in at a little bit longer in both the scales and the... Excuse me. We've got the hiccups. Coming in a little bit longer in both the scales and the blade, but it's also coming in at much longer than the Civivi Daris. Oh, that's not cool. Two very pretty knives rubbing up against each other. Probably scratching the shit out of each other. Way to go. Now anybody knows that I scratch my knife and they're going to not want to purchase it for the purchase price if I ever choose to sell it. I'm probably not selling this guy. So this is coming in at just about the same length as the PM3 and a little bit shorter than the Manix 2. Last but not least, let's show you guys the Rat Sandwich. We have our Rat Model 1 and our Rat Model 2. The Rat Model 2 slightly shorter, but not much, mostly because of this pronounced ass tip that this thing's got going on, and the blade's slightly longer, but it's much smaller than the Rat Model 2. Or, I'm sorry, my Rat Model 1. Let's grab my notes. I forgot to mention the blade shape. Some places call this a spear point, some call it a drop point. I've looked on several different sites, and I always do that if I question the blade shape. And they call this a spear point. It kind of looks more like a spear point than a drop point to me. As I said, 20 CV, the forward finger choil, hand rub, set, and finish. Right hand only carry. This right hand tip up only carry. But this is made in China, in case you guys were wondering about the Wii logo, which the Wii logo looks pretty sweet on this guy too. Made in China. It's extremely, extremely light ceramic ball bearings, no milling. So what do I like about this guy? So for a tiny little knife, and I say tiny because my preference is around the 3.5 to 4 inch blade length, and fatter. I kind of prefer like a fatter blade too. It's extremely ergonomic for so small, and we're talking relative, right? I'm talking like, if you were comparing this to the Bug Out, it's much better than the Bug Out. If you're comparing it to the Feldspar, for example, it's a great comparison. The Feldspar's okay, right? This thing, like, awesome. Just awesome and fantastic. And I think this feels lighter than the Feldspar too, which is cool. And then I love the aesthetics. Aesthetically, this is gorgeous. The only thing I wish I would have got the bronze instead of gold. I prefer the bronze, or the copper shred instead of the gold. But that was all sold out by the time I picked this up. These are limited editions, I believe. Does this have a serial number on it? Yes. So the only thing on the blade way back here is, and I don't even know if you guys can see it right there. So we got a 20 CV. Trying to get you guys good lighting on it. It's just not working. We got 20 CV, but right here, what it's showing is this is blade 68 of 320. There were only 320 gold shreds made, and there was only 320 copper shredded made. So what I think Wii is doing with this is they're creating an iconic knife, which is the Kitefin. Very, very solid in practice and all around. And I think that what they're doing is just going to create some limited models and, you know, throw out 300 of them, have people buy them up, wait 6 months, make something else cooler. So this is going to turn into like Maybe they're trying to do like the PM2 thing with it, where PM2 has so many different styles and there's people that just collect PM2s. Not sure, but they're a long ways off from that if they are. It's going to take some time and probably don't want to make it cost $199 on Blade HQ if you want to make it collectible. But then again, who really cares if you love it, because you're going to buy it anyways. And the last thing I like the frame lock on this guy. The frame lock is stout. It's not one of those super light ones, but it's just light enough to be comfortable, and then it locks into place. Now, if I'm holding the frame lock when I do this, it's very difficult to open. There's been other knives that I have felt with the frame lock that you can squeeze in the frame lock all you want, and I really have no trouble opening it. This is one that you do, but the ergonomics lend itself to, with the flipper tab combined, really lend itself to not have to rely or not have to worry about that. With the bare knuckle, the ergonomics didn't lend itself to say, keep off of that frame lock. This really does. You really don't have any problems getting off of that frame lock when you're here. So there's that. Last but not least, dislikes, I don't really have any. I really like this little guy. There's nothing about this that I dislike. And if I had to choose one, because you guys are forcing me to choose one, which nobody has, but I'm creating a situation of like, whatever, is that it's not ambidextrous, but you understand why it's not. You cannot make this ambidextrous because you have a show side and a titanium side, and it would not work otherwise. One's contoured, one's flat. It just wouldn't work. So if I had to choose a dislike, maybe it's they didn't create any left-handed ones. If they didn't, I don't know. But overall, ergonomically, sound, probably for a small knife, I'm going to give it an 8.5. I always grade these relatively to like their bracket of what they're going for. Oh, feels good. Slicing factor, fantastic. This thing, you can slice through shit all day in this. This is just great. Aesthetics, beautiful. This thing is beautiful. And my favorite part isn't this part. It's actually the hand rub satin finish that they put on here. It's so unique and just just damn nice looking. It's a nice looking freaking blade, guys. Just great. Fidget factor through the roof. I mean, it's just fantastic. In my opinion, for a small knife, if you're going to go buy this because you want, say, a sub 3 1/4 inch or however long this blade shape is, and something lighter than 3 ounces, this is it. I love the Wee Kitefin. Now, to answer the question of, is this a forever knife? Remember how I mentioned that there's going to be people that might collect Wee Kitefins? Yeah, I might be one of those people. The only thing that would ever get me to sell this is if, like, once they run out of the limited models and people are snatching them up at stupid high rates, I may try to get like an extra 20 or 30 bucks for it due to the fact that it was a limited run. But I don't see myself doing that. I mean, that's why. I think what I'm going to do is I'm not even putting this in my collection. This is going to go back in the box because the box is pretty sweet. This is what it came in. A very gorgeous looking box, right? You open this up and it's another gorgeous looking box. And then you open this up and it comes out with this beautiful, I'm not even going to unfold it because I'm not going to fold it right. It comes out with that. But this is the coolest part. It comes with this certificate of this knife. This is to certify that the Wee Kitefin LE Golden Shred with serial number 68 out of 320 is genuine and authentic. We hope this Wee knife will bring you a whole new experience. Your satisfaction is our mission. Thank you so much for choosing us. And then it gives you all the specifications on here. And it is really, really, really cool. It acts like it's a Joe Chung design, apparently. But which is the CEO of Wee Kiteco. Wee Knife Co. It's showing his signature. I'm sure that's not his actual signature. It looks printed because they're the exact same. But, I mean, the box is sweet. So, actually, while we're here, guys, you guys are going to watch me put this back into the box, and I'm just going to collect this. This is going to be a knife that I don't use. Not necessarily a safe queen. It's like, I think I enjoy collecting this more than I will the use that I will get out of it. And I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, which is, look at this inside. That's pretty cool, too. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody but people that collect things. This feels like something that I would rather collect than use. And that's just weird. Maybe I'm finally becoming an adult and don't want to play with my Star Wars Legos or something that people, whatever. But this was the week Kitefin, guys. My name is Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe. This will stay in my collection for some time, if not forever. And you guys have a great day.